Swamiji, we are going to make it a very lively and waking up session. Though it is in the class, it is almost drowsy session it will be. It depends on the teacher to wake up the children, is it not? So, we are going to begin this Yoga Spirituality Division series. It is called as Ritambhara. Ritambhara is the series, and this is the first session in the Ritambhara series. And we are here to welcome Swami Shivakantananda. So let us welcome him with a big clap. And also a flower clap. You know flower claps? Yes, do that. Everybody. That is the flower clap. Because our late Sri Mohanji, he used to make every session a very lively session with flower claps only. So we welcome Swami Shivanandaji, Shivakantanandaji for this session of Ritambhara, and I welcome our Dean of Spirituality, Dr. Professor Jayaramanji, for this series, first of this series, and we are very happy to start with the very big high impact lecture series. And along with Swamiji, we have Swami Yadavatmanandaji from Kamarpur, where Ramakrishna's birthplace. Though he started here in Yasvyasa journey as a student of YIC, now he has raised to the monk order in Ramakrishna Ashrama, and we welcome him for this session. And he is doing in Arogyadama the final session of Arogyadama in BSc Yoga. So he is going to become a therapist in yoga also. With his monk knowledge, he is going to integrate with the therapy also, and for healing the people. So we welcome him, Swamiji. Thank you. So now I give a small introduction of Swamiji, Reverend Swami Shivakantanandaji Maharaj. He is in the monk order of Ramakrishna Mission. Presently, he is working in Ramakrishna Mission, Shivanahali. He is inspired by the life and teachings of Holy Trio, that is Ramakrishna, Sharadama and Vivekananda. So he is inspired by the teachings of these trio, Holy Trio, during his college days. After finishing his bachelor degree engineering BTech and working in several companies, he joined the Ramakrishna order in the year 1998 at Ramakrishna Sharadashrama, Ponnampete. Ponnampete is in Madikeri, Coorg. So he received initiation from most Revered Swami Ranganathanandaji Maharaj. So that happens to be a wonderful moment for him in his life. He had his sannyasa in 2008. Swami Shivakantanandaji served Ponnampete Ashrama for 14 years and Kalari Ashrama also for 6.5 years as correspondent Rimse, Mysuru. So in Mysuru also we have Ramakrishna Mission. For 3.5 years he served there in Mysuru. He talks only on trio, holy trio scriptures, yoga, and as well as these lectures are attended by spiritual seekers. Swamiji is a good orator and a writer too. He has contributed number of articles to Viveka Prabha, Kannada monthly magazine of Sri Ramakrishna Ashrama, Mysuru. So with this, I once again welcome, let us welcome with a flower clap once again. Wonderful. So along with this, I welcome Indian Yoga Association Secretary, Sububhaiya. So we will give him a very big clap for this attending session. So he is the Secretary of Indian Yoga Association. I also heartily welcome him and all students. You all are precious gems here. So without welcoming you people, nothing, no program can be done. So thank you very much for attending this session. Over to Swamiji now. Namaste, Swamiji.
नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूर्ये सच्चित् सुख स्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे यस्त्यक्त्वा रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतो नेकदानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिर्विषमविषधरो नेकवक्त्रस्तु भोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिः भुजकरः हीयते शस्य वो वयात् देवो हि शस्य वो व्यासितविमलतनुः योगदो योगयुक्तः योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्थितो वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Question.
Okay.
Thank you.
My love and namaskars to Swami Yadavatmanandji Maharaj, who is on the dash. Dear Professor Dr. Manjunath, Dr. Jairam, and our beloved Subbu Bhaiya, whom I know him from past 2 decades, and who is very much closely associated with our Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. And my dear students of yoga, I am enthusiastic of this yoga from past 35 years. When I was in the final years of my engineering, of course I had that kind of migraine even when I was in the SSLC and PUC. It was terrible. It was taking the toll on my academics. So nothing worked. I went to NIMHANS also. People said some neurological problem. And a doctor, maybe he was young like you, a novice who doesn't know how to handle the patients. To me he asked, Vodake ishtam illiya? He was from the Hindi belt. You don't have the interest in studies. So it was really a shock to me. That should not happen if you become professionals by doctor. You should not injure, especially the young minds, take it deeply. Let it be apart. And the kind of tablet which they gave, maybe it is aniline, if I remember the name rightly, they gave 125 tablets. You have to eat 3 times or 4 times daily. My heart was beating like this much. I could feel it. That kind of tablet they had given. Oh, nothing happened. So then I joined a yoga center in the 4th year. And then when I underwent that, the whole course, that is the foundation which brought me to the condition of renunciation, renouncing the whole world and becoming a monk. Not only it cured me from the ailment which I was suffering, it cured me from the bhavaroga also. So that is the beauty of our yoga, Vedanta and other traditions. I am coming to the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. I am blessed to be a part of and in the highest offices of Ramakrishna Math and Mission, that is becoming a monk of that order, where the traditional Vedantic Dashanami is incorporated into the modern world to serve the people, to do good to the people. And the Ramakrishna Math and Mission has become the mother root of all the associations, the organization that has been developed in the Sanatana Dharma. And this Yasvyaso is also one of our proud branches of Ramakrishna Math and Mission. And the kind of the treatment that we get from H.R. Nagendra or Nagaratna Diji is tremendous. We often come here and again and again we get treatment, we get the joy of being here. And we're all serving in the name of Swami Vivekananda, who revived the Hinduism in this modern age. And behind him, there is a force called Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, which is working in this modern era silently throughout the universe. So coming to the topic, our Jayaraman sir told me I came yesterday and I was very eager to meet him from past 6 months. And I met him and I told him about all that, the various, and I'm the practitioner, serious practitioner of yoga and in particular pranayama. So I was telling him about meeting the people of various traditions of pranayama, and he told me that why can't you take this as the topic to talk to you tomorrow. And well, I had no choice, I have accepted it. But the thing is that one thing is there is not much difference between the teachers of pranayama. I have learned through a few of the yogis of the south as well as of the Punjab, of the Himachal and of the Uttarakhand. Sometimes it's only a discussion, knocking their door, they won't give you. They won't tell you or they will not reveal it. Or it is sometimes like, I go to them, beta baith jao, 3 din raho, then they will come to know all your pulses. And they will give you a very, very simple, basic, foundational pranayam, and they will tell you, you come and meet me after 6 months. And they will be wandering monks. Where to meet them? They don't know. And you also don't know. If you are a really serious yogi, the things will happen. The meeting will happen again. That's how the thing is. The person who told me, you come, practice this, I will see the perfection and give you after 6 months, I couldn't meet him again after 15 years. So this is the way that the transfer of the knowledge, especially the secrecy of yoga, goes down from tradition, and you will not get without guru. So practicing this kind of serious yoga without proper guru takes you to the dangerous level. That is why in our Ramakrishna Math mission, the yoga means the synthesis of yoga. There are 4 foundational, just like the four legs of the chair. The 4 pillars of the yoga is Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and what else? Karma Yoga. That is the most important thing. The whole world stands on the karma. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatus tishtatya karma kruta. So if you convert this karma itself as a yoga, if you convert this karma itself as a seva yoga, service to the human beings, that itself will take you to the enlightenment. And that is one of the main pillars of the Ramakrishna Math mission. That's why we have a lot of work to do. So this is about the introduction of our tradition in Ramakrishna Math mission, and I will go now into those things. And in the last 15 minutes, I will give the justice to the title of my lecture about the traditions of yoga, and in particular about those traditions and what I have learned and what is my approach to pranayama. I will tell you. So the science of Raja Yoga became famous by the lectures of Swami Vivekananda. He himself took the classes for the very enthusiastic people who were behind him and trying to get that spirituality what he was teaching. So he took a rented house and he started teaching the Raga Yoga, and he wrote the letters to the India to send some books across so that he can take them, study them and teach them. And for his commentaries, he has mainly taken the Patanjali Sutra with the Vyasabhashya, and also the Bhojavrutti also he has exhaustively referred. And you can see and interpret by seeing his the notes that were taken and Raja Yoga. During his lifetime itself, that book on Raja Yoga was published. So what he says in his introduction to Raja Yoga is, this is the science. It is not just like a belief system or a mythical system. You have to study Bhagavad Gita, the Bible or Quran or whatever is there. You have to study and believe that whatever they tell is true. But the Raja Yoga is not like that. It is a science. You have to experiment within yourself and you will bring the result. It is something like what Shri Krishna says in Gita, Uddhared Atmana Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. You become the teacher to yourself. Buddha says, be a light unto yourself. The path of the enlightenment is so narrow that even your teacher can't follow him. So this is the challenge that the Raja Yoga, the Patanjali Yoga throws to us. The pure yoga, you have to charge your body, you have to charge your mind, you have to charge your intellect, you have to completely bring back all the resources that the God has given in this human form. That is why this Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam, this body becomes a pillar and instrument to achieve the highest. So you have to keep this body in a very good manner. To keep this body in a very good manner, what you need is the prana. So, in the introduction to this prana, Swamiji gives a wonderful introduction to that. And it is not just the prana of the yoga that he has taken into his introduction. He has taken the prana aspects that is taught in Vedas. Especially the prana is exactly dealt in every corner of our Vedic Shastras, where you can see in the Chandogya, you can see in the Prashnopanishad, you can see in the Shvetashvara Upanishad, everywhere there is told. So the story is narrated in 2-3 Upanishads, in Brihadaranyaka, in Chandogya, in Prashnopanishad also, where all the indriyas, like eyes, ears, they brag themselves that we are maintaining this body. So when they compete within each other, then prana says, no, don't do all these mischievous things, don't become egoistic. You are not the people who are sustaining this body. I am the person, I am doing that. I am keeping this jivatma intact with the body. So they become egoistic, they brag themselves, and this fellow, the eye goes for 1 year and comes back and sees this body is alive, and then he asks, how you people are alive? Then all those ears and others, they say, how this blind man lives? Like that we live. Like that this fellow, the ear lives, and they say, how the deaf lived? We live. Even this Purushatva goes out and comes back and says, how you survived? They said, how eunuch lives? We lived. So this is how, and when the prana started moving, then this Brihadaranyaka says, like Hayashva, Su Ashwa, that is a big horse of the Afghanistan. When that starts lifting, all those that thing which we bind and keep, that starts moving. So like that the body starts moving, and the Prashnopanishad says they all praise him. They praise him as the God. You are the supreme God. So pranasyedam moshes sarvam tridiviyat pratishtitam mateva putran rakshasva shrishcha pragnamscha videhina iti. You protect your prana, you like a mother. Like a mother. In the Sandhya Vandana mantra also it comes, Ushatiriva Mataraha. Ushatiriva Mataraha means the mother who has her first child. The mother in those days, in the houses, they give the young lady itself as a bride, and within 16, 17 years they will be a householder. So if a child is born to her, how she will be? She will be very anxious. She will be looking whole day taking care of it, what will happen? After second or third child, it will be normal for her. But for the first child, she will be having a terrible affection and care. That kind of care you give, Mateva Putran Rakshasva, Ushatiriva Mataraha. That is the kind of status the prana enjoys in our scriptures. So what prana, he takes it to the higher level, the cosmic prana. He gives that value to the cosmic prana. And this whole world is sustained by the prana. The prana came first. If you take it to the level of the Big Bang theory, it is something which was unmanifested became manifest because of energy, and that energy is nothing but prana. This world is going on expanding. It's like the fire in the furnace where it is expanding the iron into the molten iron into the further temperature, it is bringing it to the liquid and liquid state. So this whole is expanding because of prana, and at the same time prana should control. If these two things are not happening, a controlling and also expanding, we will collapse. So what we are doing now in this world, especially the modern people, is we are trying to expand ourselves to the prana, but we are not controlling ourselves into our Atman with the same tool called prana. So both things should happen, and to do the things to happen like this, you should know the techniques of pranayama. So Swamiji says, if you want to become a yogi, you should depend on the faculties of yourself. Don't believe in any scriptures, any Vedanta, any doctrine, any dogma, any guru. Initially, you practice seriously yourself, adapt yourself, bring your energy inside, out, and take that inside and work on it. In your Hridaya, in your Prana, in your channels, in your Sushumna Nadi, in your Ida, in your Pingala, wherever you have the control, you start working on it. Don't look at the idols which are outside. If you want to look at the idols outside, take that idol and concentrate. Close your eyes, concentrate in your heart on the same idol. So everything, every moment of your being should be centered at your heart. So Swamiji says, believe nothing until you find it out for yourself. That is what Raja Yoga teaches us. Truth requires no prop to make it stand. So truth is something which is self-established. That's what the Jiddu Krishnamurti also says. The truth is a pathless land. Because you cannot find the path somewhere else. You have to find the path within yourself, and that path is known only to you and not to anyone else, including your teacher, including your Ishtadevata. Everything has to be done within your heart. You have to plow the roots in your heart. That only becomes your own. Other things are all uchishta. Uchishta, you know? Everything is uchishta. Even Veda is also uchishta. Somebody has spoken. That light has not surfaced in your brain means it is not yours. You are the creator of this whole universe. No one has created for you. Because you have created this universe, then only this world becomes Maya. Otherwise it will not become Maya. So the whole thing is held like an umbrella, the space, Akasha, by this prana, and if this prana collapses, the Akasha collapses. If the Akasha collapses, all the Panchabhutas collapses. Akashad Vayuhu, Vayoragnihi, Agnerapah, Advyah Prithvi, Prithvyam Oshadayah. This Oshadaya is the problem. We become gross. We don't become subtle. So the idea of the yoga is to take you from this grass to the subtle. Take that, just like you remove the plant from this pot, take it out, take this root out and throw it out of this samsara. You will become mukta. So this is the energy that is holding this space, and within this space all these other four bhutas are traveling and doing all the things that are required, and yet this Akasha is not attached, and behind this Akasha, what is sustaining is prana. It is doing everything, whether it is doing good, whether it is doing bad, whether it is doing nonsense, everything happens by prana. If it wants to do good, it will be in the form of prana. If it wants to do something bad, it will be in the form of apana. Something like that. If everything is happening well, it is called samana. So this is the manifesting motion that is happening in this world, and it has the, luckily, as the locus as our own body. This cosmic prana is moving everywhere. This cosmic prana, the same cosmic prana, is inside our body. How we can feel this is inside our body? It is not completely sukshma like Atman. It is not completely sukshma like Manas. It has some gross form, it has the subtle form also. Prana has some gross form also. That is the luckiest things for us. And this gross form of the prana, we can catch it by our breath, by our usiru in Kannada. हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? सांस. सांस जो है हमारे अंदर, वो सांस is the first person who can touch this prana, and this prana can move anywhere. It can move even into the Atman and come out. And there we have to catch it. By our breath only, we have to catch this prana, and we have to nourish this prana, and we have to make this prana to work within our, not only in our body, in our mind, to take us higher. So the Western idea of psychology is to enjoy this world. They become so mad, and all this problem happens. And when they do the counseling is given so that you will become mentally strong to enjoy this world. But in our Eastern psychology, that is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is to attain the Kaivalya, to attain the Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, to attain the Viveka Khyati, to attain the Dharma Megha Samadhi. So there is a gulf of difference between these two, and you as students of Indian yoga, your idea behind your profession, your idea behind your lifestyle should be that I not only take this yoga to my own enlightenment and liberation and emancipation, I also make my patients to achieve this. You should make them to taste this idea of Atman, the idea of mechanical. If you don't look at a doctor who can attract the people and who can heal by the touch. It can happen in you if you are really go into the spiritual aspects of this yoga. So what Swamiji says is, once you control this prana which is flowing in your body, which is nothing but the prana which is moving the whole world and sustaining the whole world like gravitation and other cosmic forces, you can control the stars, you can control the sun, you can control the moon. You will be able to move the sun and stars out of their places, to control everything in the universe from the atoms to the biggest stars. In this context, I wanted to tell that story in the end, but I will tell you now itself. You may be knowing about Milarepa. How many of you know? Can you raise your hand? No. I expected more hands. Thank you. Milarepa was a Tibetan Buddhist monk belonging to Kangu system of the Tibet Buddhism. His guru was Marpa. Marpa was a great yogi. And in those traditions, like our Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Vyasa and all those people, they will be having the wife also. Guru Patni will be there. So this Milarepa was was a disciple of this Marpa, and he learned the yogic techniques from him. He was from a very poor family and a very oppressed family. He had no father. His mother was suffering at the hands of those landlords. A small villages, you can imagine the Tibet. So they were and this landlord was a very tyrannical landlord, had taken everything away and they were into the streets. He was very much perturbed by that. They were thrown out of that village with his mother. Then whatever was taught to him, he started doing that and he became Siddha. He went, this is the village, where that mountain is there, his own native village. Opposite to that native village, another mountain he sat so that he could see that village. Then he got the Siddhi. Then there was a big black cloud there standing at the end. He pointed to that and brought it to his village. And then he ordered to rain, and the rain started pouring and pouring. And that landlord's whole building, his paddy field, everything got destroyed. Then he ordered one insect. He could see some insect there and he ordered that. It became like a bison. That bison broke all his house, that landlord's house, went inside and smashed. Those people inside also died. Again, after some time, he came back to Marpa and he started the schooling again. But this time Marpa became very tough and he started giving him a lot of tortures. He used to put the stone roll behind him and he used to say, you plow the field. I will not give you the yokes. Like that. Yankees there. So many things he did and he used to weep. And the Guru Patni used to tell, why you are touching this boy so much? Don't keep quiet. So he couldn't bear that, so much of punishment so he ran away overnight. When he ran away, Marpa started weeping. Then his wife asked, what is this? Every day you used to punish him like this, and that is why he ran away, and today you are weeping. He is my disciple. He is my disciple. And he has done the papa karma. He has done a sin. He has taken the revenge, which is not good for yoga. To eradicate that, to efface that, I was scolding him. Swami Brahmananda, disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, also used to do this to his disciple. Through this 3 days continuously used to scold for no reason. And when the disciple reacted, you have done some bad karma, that is why I am doing this. Then he comes back, Milarepa comes back, and even today when you walk on the roads of Manasa Sarovara, you will find his cave still there. People visit there. So he is from that great tradition, and they have also the various kinds of pranayama. The Tibetan tradition is much harsher than Indian way of pranayama. So what happens is, once we become yogi, there will be nothing in the nature which is not under our control. That is an example given by the life of Milarepa, so that you become a yoga enthusiast, but you will not do the yoga for the sake of all the siddhis. You will do yoga for what? For your emancipation. That is the important aspect of the yoga, because many times there is a complaint from this kind of people who go only for yoga. They get a lot of mental strength, peace of mind, and longevity, and the ability of the body to digest anything or everything. That is not the aim of yoga. The aim of yoga is to have the vision of God. Vision of God. Or if for the Advaiti who doesn't believe in the forms of God, the enlightenment, Brahman, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is the thing. That is why even though it is there as a part of the fruit, a little fruit comes, but a small fruit you should not enjoy. big fruit we have to enjoy. So when you want to enjoy the big fruit, the small fruits has to be sacrificed. So in the path of the yoga, lot of siddhi comes, anima, marima. Even Patanjali enlists that in the sadhana pada, ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidau vairatyaga. If a person is established in ahimsa, even the lions and the leopards and the cheetahs will be walking in his ashrama, you might have seen. Vairatyaga, even if the deer comes, that lion will not do in his kutira. All those things. Even these are the hindrance to the path of yoga. You will enjoy this. Animals also enjoy, people will also enjoy. This is not the yoga, aim of yoga. Asteya pradishtayam virya labha. Asteya pradishtayam sarvaratnopasthanam. Not virya labha, sarvaratnopasthanam. If you establish yourself in non-stealing, what happens? Lot of richness comes to you. You control that aspects in your life, the nature will follow and pour into you big richness. Maybe tomorrow you will get, suddenly your mutual fund will become this much and you can get a lot of money. All these things will happen by doing yoga, but you have to reject that. Milarepa rejected and went forward, then only you will achieve something more. So now I will come to the general aspects of those traditions which I touched upon, and then I will go into those specifics. How many minutes more I have, sir? How many minutes I have? 15 minutes. Then question answer. Okay. See, we do pranayama, and Ida and Pingala, no? You all know the basics of pranayama, is it? Okay. So this is the Chandranadi, another is the Surya Nadi. One is the Ida and the Pingala. All our exercises or whatever we are doing, pranayama, even if you are advanced person in pranayama, what you are doing is only this Ida Pingala business. Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi. These two only are operating unless and until the Sushumna opens. So you all know about Hatha Yoga Pradipika of Swatmarama, is it not? So in what he says, the Pingala is Ganga, Ida is Ganga Jaimana Nidhi. Further don't tell. So she is sitting there as Sushumna, inside, blocking the Sushumna. So most of the people operate Ida and Pingala. So these traditions which are there, they depend on, some traditions depend more on Surya Nadi, other traditions depend more on Chandra Nadi. They try to awake the heat aspect, other tradition try to use that cooling aspects of the pranayama. See, people who use Surya Shakti more, they are the people who are in the urgency. That's what I feel. Because you can charge it either through Kapalabhati and Agnisara Kriya and all that, so that your body becomes more heated and channels get opened quickly. There will be a lot of toxins in the system. You know that? You all know very well. I need to ask. You know very well. First you will take it to the body level, then you do yogasana, then you do the Shat Karmas to cleanse the body, Saptadhatus. Once the Saptadhatus are clean, then only you will feel the channels are getting open. The 72,000 nadis through which the prana flows start, you feel it is open only when you do the cleansing. If you have done Shat Karma, and again if you are putting the impurity into your body, you will not feel the flow of prana. What you are feeling is something very gross. If you want to really feel that flow of prana and all that, you must be serious about this one, this fellow. Who is that? Yes, exactly. That is what the Bhagavata said. Yavat jitendriyo nasyad vijitendriyah puman jitam jihve jitam sarvam. All the senses I have controlled, but I have not controlled the tongue, is as good as not winning any of the senses. I have won against tongue and I have not controlled any other senses, is as good as winning all the senses. This is told in Bhagavata. This was one of the favorite shlokas of Swami Turiyananda, disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So this is the thing. Once you put upuhulikara means salt. Oh, none of the Kannadigas are here, huh? Or they are silent. So I can say the Kannadigas are yogis, Mona yogis. So one is the salt, another is sour. Especially in Karnataka they use this huಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು, tamarind. It's very bad. Comparatively lemon is better. And then spices, chili. Chili as such alone it will help, but if you combine with this three, it will not. And when these three goes into the tongue, no, you will not be able to come out of it. Sweet is not a hindrance to the yogis, they take it. But you should not take it with other things. This is the aspect. So, I cannot touch everything now, but only thing I tell you is that if you want to go seriously into these things, you have to leave these things and see. So when this, after your Shatkarma cleansing, when you again go back to this tongue services, again this Saptadhas will become disturbed and prana cannot settle the way it has to settle for a yogi. Now you are holding the Chinmudra, Chinmaya Mudra, Adi Mudra and all that, you will see the pulses here, the pulsations here. But to give the direction to the prana where you want, it requires those channels, it is all subtle, very subtle channels. That subtle channels gets blocked by the phlegm created by these three. It creates a phlegm, a sort of phlegm, which is also sometimes grass, sometimes settled. So, if you are doing the Shatkarma and afterwards, if you go to the fasting, liquid fasting and dry fasting, etc., then there will be a cleansing at the cellular level. Once it becomes at cellular level cleansing, then only you will be able to feel the movement of the prana. Otherwise, the telling that it is ida, pingala, all these things becomes a nonsense. It won't happen like that. So when you hold that, see, when we are taught the pranayama, when we had headache, that in that regime they gave only the raw food for 7-8 days. When they gave only the raw food, even when we went to factory for work, I followed it. Others also were following. They were greeting and following it. After 8 or 10 days, somebody had the migraine. They said that you keep pain in the leg. You keep one finger there, and then you do the Chin Mudra Pranayama, Adi Mudra for head. For the leg is Chin Mudra. And at that point, because the pranic level was high, that person, within 5 minutes, that leg pain stopped. Because you are able to direct the prana. The prana will go, it is ready to go, and it is under the control of the mind. It will go, but if there are channels which are hindering them, it will not go. So when we are not able to cure the ordinary diseases through prana, you will not get into the higher kaivalya and all through prana. So that is the problem with Raja Yoga. It is not so ordinary. It is not for the ordinary people. So the people in India, you are in the blood, in your parents, in your grandparents, everybody's parents' blood. साधु बनना है, हमको भगवान का दर्शन करना है. Those things are there, no? It is there in everybody. It is there in everybody. Every human being is aspiring for the enlightenment, not for this bhoga, not for this richness, not for this making artificial intelligence programming, nothing. These are all the byproducts of the main wish, that is the realization. So this will be there, and we have to take that prana to that level. So how serious you should be, you think of that. So when they operate in this channel, these people, those people are in hurry to detoxify at that level and go into that. Their tradition is this kind of Surya Shakti pranayama. So it is like yoga. If you see the Vinyasa yoga of Pattabhi Jois, they do a lot of. Have you gone into Vinyasa? Anybody? You study that. In Vinyasa yoga, if you look at the BKS Iyengar tradition, both are modern. Don't think that these people who what BKS Iyengar tradition or Pattabhi Jois tradition and another tradition is there. All three people, they are all post-independent period people or pre-independent period. Mainly T.K. Krishnamacharya was there 132 years ago. All this happened in Mysore. Anyway, that is another part. I don't have time. So this kind of people, there are in the yoga also. In the yogasana also, there is a stretching. You stretch, relax, breathe, all that thing will be there. In Vinyasa, you have to sweat out. You have to take out all the toxins quickly and go into that. That also works. So this is the thing. But the people who follow this Chandra, they try to keep this cool. In that tradition, what happens is you will be not in a hurry. Even if it takes 30-40 years, you will take it. You will concentrate only on the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Much and much more towards Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. You will try to keep the balance of Ida Pingala intact. You will not go into lot of Kapalabhati and Bastrika and all that, which whips the prana. And if there is a negative, even there is a little of stool in the kalan, what happens is, if you are doing this kind of pranayama, it burns that. It burns, and that burning will create a toxin. So your system must be completely free from all such dirt before entering into the serious aspects of pranayama. They take care of it. In those days also, this neti, Dauti, Basti, everything was there, but they used to do in a river. Now we have more systematic and a lot of instruments are there, much more safer to do. But our purpose is not for which they did. That is why we don't get that kind of benefit of pranayama which they get. So that is the thing. So if you want a cooler, a deeper and longer aspects, they do that, and they try to do more and more Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, lesser and lesser of all these things which creates the heat, it cleanses the body, and it takes this. Finally what they will do in the Shakti Sanchalana Mudra is create the heat and open the Sushumna. You know that? Shakti Sanchalana? Okay, I think maybe in the syllabus or may not be. You will do Bandhatrayas. In the Bandhatrayas, then in the Ardhamatsyendrasana Asana, there are some commands, which that command only this Sushumna starts moving. So, reaching up to that is the secret which they will not reveal so easily. They will ask you to stay with them, but they will not reveal so easily. Some of the things only they have revealed, telling me not to reveal to others. I can only tell those persons and the places where I have met. So this is the aspect. Finally, you will go into Shakti Sanchalana Kriya and open this tongue. And these two traditions, either they will go for a fast methods or they will go for a smaller methods. Most of the asanas which are told in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and all those things only they follow. Some of the people advocate that you can do in Padmasana and other asanas also, but some of the traditions say it's only Siddhasana. Through Siddhasana only you have to achieve. Only problem with the Siddhasana is it gives a wonderful effect. You will be locking the perineum, and immediate effect it gives, but to stay in Siddhasana for a longer time is difficult compared to Padmasana. So what happens is for 40-45 minutes you will be able to go there. It takes nearly to go into the Jyoti Mudra. Again, I am truncating many things because I cannot tell those things. So you do all that, then you will concentrate on your chakra and concentrate. Finally, you will go into Shanmukhi Mudra and Jyoti Dhyana. So when you do that, by that time if your Siddhasana is collapsing, the whole 1.5 hours of effort will come down. It collapses. It doesn't take you there. So there is a lot of challenge. These are the things. Okay? Yeah. So I will tell a few traditions which I have met. See, one of the teachers who belong to, you know about Santa Shishunal Sharif, Kannada people will be knowing. Santa Shishunal Sharif also had the tradition of pranayama, that there is one tradition called Kakabhushundi pranayama tradition. Kakabhushundi, you know that one crow came to Rama when he was a small boy. He became a yogi. He only taught to Vasishta. Then Vasishta taught to Rama. That is the tradition, Yoga Vasishta, other things. So those are these traditions. His guru was Govinda Guru. That Govinda Guru only taught the Shishunal Sharif, and I also have met those people. Other things are Naga Sadhus, you may be knowing. Some of the Naga Sadhus will be totally naked. They do a lot of kriyas. There will be a lot of kriyas. You know about Kriya Yoga. Before entering into Dhyana, they do Kriya and then they sit for Dhyana. They use herbs also for the sake of Dhyana. Like you know, Shiva himself takes the bhang, marijuana and all those things. There are herbs in the Himalayas. There are roots in the Himalayas. When I was walking from Gangotri to Gomukh, I walked with him. I think I walked from Uttarkashi or somewhere. That time, there 2013 flood time. He was on the way showing many herbs. And he said, this is not the time to pick. There's some stars should come at that point. It is something like a beetroot will come out. Then there is a process and all that. Then we have to lick it and sit. And we sit for 6 months with that. There won't be hunger also. So if you come there, if our Guru accepts, all those things are there. So they use the herbs for also there's dhyana. Another thing is the Natha Sampradaya, you know all that. He is the Guru, Matsyendra Nath and Goraknath tradition. They are called Kanpata sadhus. Kanpata, they break, you know, Yogendra Nath, CM of Uttar Pradesh also belongs to that tradition. I have also met those people. They have one branch in Junagadh. Junagadh is in Gujarat. So you can stay with them for a few days, but they won't teach all those things. You have to come to that tradition usually from the childhood, then they will teach you. But 2-3 days, I and another sadhu stayed there, and the Mahanta of that place was very good. It's very good, and he was very good looking, and we can see that yogi in his demeanor. Really. So he said, he gave a special room to us because we belong to Ramakrishna Mission, and he was giving the special diet also to us. So he was telling, many people come, some people are good, Swamiji, but many people go into the wrong ways. Especially when you use these herbs, we should be careful. So many people can't bear it. Another person, when I was in the Gangotri, specifically inquired from Uttarkashi itself to meet him, and I met him. His name was Sai Muni. His disciple was Shiva Muni. He was Kannadiga, so I could meet him. His Sai Muni basically belongs to Kerala. So by that time I was working in Kannadi, I was able to talk in Malayalam also. And he was knowing Kannada because, and he was the worshipper of Mukambika. They worship the mother also. These yogis usually worship mother. Some mother they worship. So I requested him for 3 days, he did not give anything. He was also had a wonderful control over himself. He was not touching the money. What he used to do is he used to go and stand in the bus stand, and then somebody will come and says, Babaji, aapko udhar jana hai na? They used to give to conductor, take this Babaji and drop him there. So simply he stands and even his Kutira material to Gomukh has come without he asking it. Trunk, everything was there in Gangotri. He said, nothing I asked, everything was brought. So this is how he was there. And when the flood came, his Gufa is below that Gangotri. Other Yoganiketan, other things were there above. He was staying there. Suddenly that flash flood came, you know that incident, 2013. So nobody could go there. For 1 week he was there in that ice cold water. He was not drowned. He was neck deep, ice cold water for 1 week. Everybody were anxious because they know. Once you go there, people will come to know you are there, you are there. That is there in the Himalayan tradition. They are unable to reach. I have gone to his Gufa also. You have to go and pick the rope and then cross. Sometimes you may fall into the flow of the Ganga. So those things are. He was staying there, and then one rope was tied and brought through there, so that if he is alive, he can bring it. After 1 week, he got up and came above. So he gave me very basic pranayam, and he said, you practice this for 6 months, and then come to me. And I told you in the beginning of the class itself, I couldn't do that. After 6 months, I couldn't meet him, or I did not go. I could, in the Ramakrishna Mission, you cannot go so easily. I could not go and search him. He told you search, that's all. Where you will be, you search, that's all. That's all. So this is one thing, and another Buddha Puri. 1 more minute? 1 minute. Buddha Puri is in Surati Sangam Ashram in Moga. He is still alive, I feel. I am very eager to meet him. He is a very advanced yogi, and he teaches in the Punjab way of tradition. You know, the Lahore is nothing but our own place. Lahore is Lavapuri, the capital of Lava. There are a lot of the yogis were there. Yogi Krishna, you might have read that Power of Kundalini. You have not read. Those things you should read. He was in Lahore. You will get that in that biography, how he realized in the streets of Lahore, how the Kundalini started flowing in like a molten copper and all that. You read there. So anyway, so they belong to that kind of tradition, and he teaches, he is a very advanced yogi, and many of his disciples are able to do Kechari Mudra. I was there for 15 days. He said, your body, now I have reduced. At that time I was little fat, and he assigned to some disciple, you teach him Nauli. After Nauli only I will teach something else. So I couldn't perfect the Nauli, and he said, तुम नीचे जाओ, Nauli करके आओ, मैं आपको और बता दूंगा. In that time he was taking care of me only lovingly. When the love comes more, you should come to know that it is all over for you. When the harshness comes, the master started teaching you. That's what Milarepa's example. So this is what has happened. And one of the incidents they told their disciples that they went to Swarga ashram, Swarga Rohan, which is after Badri. Vasudhara. After Vasudhara, Badri, Vasudhara, Lakshmi, Vana, then from there only Pandavas went to Swarga, that place. And that place they went, 4 or 5 very advanced disciples of him, and they got natural Kechari. Immediately the tongue went inside. That's what they said. That happened in Swargashrama, they said. Even there are Kashmiri traditions, which when I went to Himachal, I was introduced, but because of shortage of my vacation, I came back. But that doesn't matter much, how many traditions are there or whatever. What we have to do is we have to go into one and go deeply in that path. Thank you.
We thank Swamiji for his wonderful eye-opening sessions. So we just take this occasion, opportunity to felicitate Swamiji. So we'll just thank him. His experiences enriched traditions of pranayama. What we learn from the text and how the experience, that same textual learning which is taken into experience. Swatmarama gives in Hatha Yoga Pratipika many ways. Yes, as Swamiji told, Siddhasana. Sthanuho sanyamitendriyo achaladrusha pashyet bhruvorantaram hi etan moksha kapata bheda janakam siddhasanam prochyate. You might have learnt everything. But how to apply this? Pranayamaireva sarve prashushyanti malagiti acharyanam tu kesham chit anyat karmam nasammatam.
Nasammatam.
There is no other
Only pranayama.
practice necessary to reach the highest concentration. That is what we have heard from Swamiji, from so many traditions, how it can give us a beautiful dimension. So we once again thank Swamiji for his grateful session, and we just felicitate Swamiji. Please. Yes. Now I request our Associate Professor Dr. Sridharji to give the vote of thanks. Please.
So, before vote of thanks, I would request Dr. Manjunath sir to felicitate Swami Yadava Atmananda Swamiji. Thank you. So I thank with whole gratitude and Shraddha and Bhakti to Swami Shiva Kantananda Swamiji of Ramakrishna Mutt from Shivanahalli Ashram to deliver a wonderful lecture on traditions of pranayama, and I hope our students and faculty members have benefited with that, and I suppose they would apply their mind into the research in future. And this is the initiative, the called Ritambhara series, that division of yoga spirituality has started today. So this is the first talk in this series, and in future we would like to organize such talks in various topics from various fields, from yoga and Vedic therapy and also Indian knowledge system, so that our students and faculty members can look into the research and study the Indian knowledge system. And we look forward for the further talks in the Ritambhara series. And I would also thank Swami Yadavatmananda Swamiji from Ramakrishna Mutt to come here and give his time and to be here with us for this lecture. And I also thank the Dean Academics and Dean Yoga Spirituality, Professor Jayaraman sir, to organize this series, this lecture talk. And I also thank the administration of Yes Vyasa to provide support to organize this program. And I also thank all the students and the faculty members, especially Dr. Manjunath sir, to coordinate the program, and other faculty members of spiritual department and School of Yoga. I also thank Shri Sububhaiya from Indian Association of Yoga to be here with us today. And I also thank the technical team here, Arjit Bhaiya and also the Ashok ji, to support us for the whole technical, the camera with camera and for the electronic devices. I also thank all the audience here, the students of School of Yoga and School of Naturopathy, to listen patiently and to get benefited with it.